We are good now, right?
Good now. So let's go.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you for this opportunity. Hi, everyone. As Naveen mentioned, so in pursuit of the advanced certified Scrum Master training. So this is one session that we are expected to give on our learning and the experiences that we have had. So I've chosen this topic, simple mantra, everyone and early. Let us see how it goes by and what are our learnings. Yeah, so the agenda. So this is what it's going to be about me, a little bit about me and things we know already, glimpse of agile principles, Scrum values and pillars, the importance, and then the topic, the simple mantra, the ease, everyone and early, and we'll be seeing it in depth and trying to correlate with the principles and the Scrum values. So about me, yeah, I come with overall experience of 20 plus years in this journey. The last 5 years have been phenomenal with the agile transformation that I've had on self, enabling me to be a successful Scrum Master, inducting about 8 Scrum teams from the initiation phase till date. When I say initiation phase, so right from scratch, I have got the opportunity to create new Scrum teams for at least 4 of them right from scratch, and it has been a great journey, and it has been a satisfying journey to have coached these Scrum teams, empowering them to be self-organized to deliver the best. In this session, I bring in some of the common observations from the varied experiences that I've had and a simplified thought process to deal with them. Let's see how helpful it's going to be for each of you in understanding this and using it in your day-to-day experiences. I've been a certified Scrum Master and certified product owner, and soon I'll be advanced certified Scrum Master as well, right? Things we know already, so I don't want to get into the details of this, but yeah, we are going with the assumption that yeah, all of us know agile principles, the Scrum values and pillars, and what a Scrum team comprises of, that is like product owners, developers, and Scrum masters. And when we say developers, we all know that it has all the cross-functional skills within the team. And of course, we all know what all are the Scrum events. So trying to recollect all this so that you'll be able to relate to whenever I'm trying to talk about the experiences and the observations. So still a glimpse of the principles. So these are the 12 principles that we've had. I'm sure like all of you would have known these. I'm not going to read out, but probably wait for a minute so that you can just go through these and again be able to relate to, right? And yeah, we don't have to have a detailed discussion at this point of time, but at least again, as I said, the assumption is like we all know the importance of these, right? The agile principles and also the Scrum values and pillars. So we all know about this, the Scrum values: openness, respectful, courage, commitment and focus, and the pillars of Scrum: transparency, inspect and adapt, right? So again, don't have to discuss any of these in detail, but however, let us try to know what are the how is it important, right? And again, this going with the assumption that we all know the importance of this in what, like the importance of the Scrum values and pillars and the agile principles. So what is, how important is it, right? So if adhered to, it makes a winning team which are building a winning product. As simple as that, right? Like if you're adhering to all the Scrum values and the pillars, and also adhering to the agile principles, this is what would be the outcome. And what happens if you don't adhere to, right? Agile Scrum derails, fails simply. And this is what I have been telling all my Scrum teams, right? Like, why do agile fail, or Scrum as a framework fails? And this is one example I let them know, right? Like I make the teams understand that if nothing is going in the right direction or things are not going in the right direction, then we'll have to go back and look at the principles and the Scrum values or the pillars and see where what is compromised by the team, right? And if you're going to fill that gap, yeah, we will move towards making a winning team, which in turn will be building winning products. So that's important. So this is something, if we understand, it's going to be helpful to know, like or to correlate the mantra that I'm going to present, right? So what's it? So like I said, it's a simple mantra. The E is to remember, everyone, and early. And what are those? Okay, everyone talks, everyone listens, everyone knows everything, everyone does something, everyone is responsible, everyone is accountable, and early, do it now, just in time, just enough. So these are all like what I have done. I have built them from my observations in all my experience of being a scrum master and helping or guiding, coaching, mentoring, in whatever way all these come teams, right? But let us try to understand what are each of these and how is it going to help, right? So everyone talks. So what's a common observation? Very few in the Scrum team talk, right? Especially among the developers. Most of the talking is done by the Scrum Master or the product owner, and most often the team keeps quiet. Okay, either they talk less or do not talk at all. Also, sometimes by not being available in the key Scrum events like the sprint planning, daily Scrum, the sprint retrospective, etc. Usual assumption is they are working on their tasks diligently, which should be more than enough. So they don't have to take part in any of these key meetings, and they don't have to discuss. They know their tasks, they are working on it, and that should be good enough for them, right? So these are the common observations. But however, what is important? Everyone in the team talks in all Scrum events like sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint retrospective, although one at a time or any other discussion techniques that we can apply, but make sure that everyone talks. This helps in fostering transparency and also for the rest of the E's that we'll be discussing ahead. So the point is, everyone in the team talks. Everyone listens. Common observation. Once they are done with their talking, they get back to doing their tasks or anything more important according to them, right? Not paying attention, even while others in the team are talking talking to share information and concerns. Usual assumption is I'm done with my sharing of my updates and that's my part. So that's fine, right? So I have provided my updates. I have given my information. So I'm good with it. So everyone else is going to continue with their updates. That's enough for me, right? So that's the assumption. So what's important here? Simple rule, everyone listens, pays attention to whoever is talking in any Scrum event, be it sprint planning, again, daily Scrum, or sprint retrospective, or even in the during the sprint review, and any other team meetings that the team might have, probably some technical meeting or some technical discussions. But make sure that everyone in the team listens. They don't assume there are other tasks more important at that point of time when someone is talking, right? Especially in the meetings. So this fosters respect for everyone in the team and also for rest of the E's we'll be discussing. Enables quality discussion, obviously, right? Like if you're not going to pay attention and not listening to what other team members are saying, the discussion is going to end just at that point of time. Everyone is going to agree to whatever somebody has spoken out, or everyone is just going to nod their head, and the discussion ends there. But if you're going to listen, probably it will enable a quality discussion. Let's move to the next T. Everyone knows everything. Again, common observation. Only individuals of specific functional skill is expected to know their task, estimates, etc. for their area of skill. For example, BA is responsible for their area, so they'll take care of only those things. Or a DB person working on DB tasks, only that area the TP person is expected to know. So the team members also, like rest of the team members also would say, hey, this is for that functional area. So I don't have to know anything. So it's for that person to say. So for example, testing related, if any testing related discussion needs to take place, they'll say, hey, this is for the tester to take care. So I don't have anything to say. Right. So this is a common observation. User stories are owned only by the individuals working on it. So rest of the team does not know about the user story or its progress through the sprint. In fact, the team does not try to even know about the user stories that they are not going to be working on. Okay, they say, hey, okay, the other team member is probably going to be working on it, or the other team member has been working in that module or in that area. So let that person take care of it, right? Or that person is going to talk about it. Even through the sprint, if one person has picked up a user story and working on it, rest of the team wouldn't know what's happening with that user story, because everyone thinks, okay, that person knows and that person is going to give the information, so I don't have to know, right? However, what is important, everyone owns it up, everyone knows everything, all know about what is expected of a user story, right? It's not like, okay, I'm going to work on it, so only if I know it's sufficient. Everyone in the team knows what is expected of a user story, and everyone knows the progress of every other user story identified for a sprint. Basically fosters transparency, right? Moving to the next E, everyone does something. So this is one more observation I've had, like during the planning, maybe key items are identified, and team members probably they have been identified, or they have identified a couple of items, or one or two items that they'll be working on, and they're done with it. So what's next? So most often the team members assume, right? Yeah, I'm done with it. I've done my part. So that's it. Okay, I don't have to do anything during the sprint. Simple rule, make sure no one is idle at any point in the sprint. Throughout the sprint, everyone is doing something, something that adds value to the sprint goal, or to the team, or to the product. Once done with their task, team can identify what value add can the team member provide further. It could be anything, as I said, like towards the design, or like if first step would be is to help the other team members in achieving the sprint goal, because we are working as a unit, right? So it's not like individual goals, it's about the team goal for the sprint. Okay, so try and help other team members so that the team reaches the sprint goal. Then if that is also taken care, then probably one can identify any improvement areas, especially to work on NFRs. It could be like code refactoring, or any other changes, design changes, or something like that, right? So make sure that in a sprint, everyone is working on something of value add towards the product, the team, or even the sprint goal. Moving next, everyone is responsible and for everything, right? Primary observation is I'm responsible only for my task, and I don't have to take care of anything else because I'm focused on my task, right? However, responsibility lies with all, be it understanding a user story, estimating, or clearing, even clearing impediments, right? It fosters transparency, shows a level of commitment, shows how focused the team members are, and also enables learning, right? So when everyone feels that I'm responsible and for everything, right, they would put an effort to try and understand what is that area that the other team member is working on. Let me also understand, and let me keep myself prepared for that. So that is one thing that happens, and transparency is there. Also, it shows a level of commitment for the team member, right? Moving ahead, everyone is accountable. So team usually does not care much, as the impression is that the accountability lies with only the some of the key persons, as the team feels. Probably it lies with the product owner, a scrum master, or the so-called team lead, which is actually non-existent in a scrum team. But yeah, for purposes known to the organization, we do have team leads for so many other purposes. It could be for the reporting structure, not necessarily as a scrum part of the scrum structure, right? But still, because there's a team lead, so everyone is under the impression that okay, they are accountable, they are answerable, right? But team should own it up as a unit. Team should feel that they are answerable as a unit. And for example, if things fail, if the team is not able to meet the sprint goal, they should all believe that yeah, they are all answerable together, right? So there are possibilities that where they feel, hey, I did my job, my user story was closed, so I'm not responsible, so I'm not answerable, I'm not accountable to that, right? I have taken care of it, some other team member failed, right? So it should not come on to me. I did my part, testing was not completed, right? So I'm not accountable to that, right? So this kind of a thought process the team should move on from, and they own it up as a unit. So if the team wins, they win together. If the team fails, they fail together. right? So that's what it is. It fosters courage, commitment, and transparency. Also allows to inspect and adapt without any bias, right? So that is what happens here, and this really requires courage. That's what it is, like to own it up together, right? Because most often the intention of a team member is like, hey, I have been successful in completing my work, completing my user stories, so why should I take it on me, right? So it takes a lot of courage to think from a team's perspective, right? And that's what we had to do. Let's move to the next E now. Early. Do it now, but just in time, just enough. Common observations, sprint starts, probably in the planning, everything has been discussed. Individuals have identified their task or the user stories they'll be working on. There would be a delayed start because the team member feels that, hey, there's 2 weeks of time. I can finish my identified item sooner. And there are a lot of waiting times for different reasons, okay, causing delays. So it could be like the team member has done their task, okay, and they have to wait on some other thing to close their task, or they have to wait on some other team member or some other team also for various reasons, and there's a waiting time. But yeah, they are done with their part, and they are focusing on the next item, and there's a wait time for this item. And also there are probably wrong priorities. Team in the team, probably the team member feels that individual priority is more important as compared to the team goal priorities. I'll elaborate probably what happens, right? Like uh, within the team, when there are some dependencies, when one team member has completed his part, and probably a code review or something like that needs to be taken care by the other team member, but the other team member is so focused on his own task, assuming that, okay, I have to finish my part also, that is also a priority kid. But probably what the team member does not understand is like doing it early, the review could also help the other person address issues identified and given as a feedback or a comment, right, sooner. If they're going to wait till their task is completed and then they start, it's going to be late. And this team member whoever has to fix issues or fix the findings is not going to have sufficient time. So that's important, that anything which is waiting, try to finish it off early. So what's important? Do it now. When I say do it now, it's as simple as start early so that you'll be able to finish early. So finish early does not mean fast, in the sense like trying to do things fast, because if you're trying to do things fast in that assumption, you will end up with accidents, right? So it does not mean that you have to do things fast to finish early. Start early, follow everything, and then finish early. Also identify the delays and address them, right? So there are a lot of delays, like I'm done with my task, I have sent it for code review. Okay, the code review, it's waiting on the code review day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, right? So like I said, like everyone is responsible, everyone is accountable. So reach out to the person like who could help you in closing the code review, right? So eliminate that kind of a delay, right? It could be that we are waiting on some clarification or some information from outside the team, right? We have sent an email. Yes, I have sent an email and I'm waiting for the response. Day 1, day 2, day 3, no response. So one thing the team member has to think here is like, because the team member is responsible, what should the team member do? Cross check whether the email was even delivered. Probably the email did not get delivered, or the person did not get a chance to read the email. So how do you want to address that issue? First, make sure that to whomever you have sent that email, probably there's an acknowledgement saying that, hey, I've looked at the email and I'll get back to you, right? So at least that part is taken care, right? If that itself is not taken care, if the email itself has not been delivered, like you're going to keep waiting infinitely, right? Let's say there was an acknowledgement, the person recipient has said that they'll get back to the get back with a response, right? But again, there's a delay, right? It's the responsibility of the individual team member to try and follow up, right, and use different methods. Okay, not pressurize, okay, need not escalate in the beginning itself, but try and find out, right, like when can they get the response, or let the person know like how is it impeding the this person's work and how it's going to be an issue for a larger goal, right? So that's all lies with everyone in the team. It's not like, hey, I've done it, I've sent it and I'm waiting for the response. That person is a very senior person. I don't want to keep disturbing him, right? No such kind of assumptions. So you being responsible and being accountable, you have every kind of, I would say, authority of the power to follow up on your own. You don't have to wait for somebody else to do it, somebody else in your team to do it for you, right? So everyone is equally uh, uh, like has the authority to do that, right? Yeah, but the point here is like, do it early, don't wait for things to happen, right? And like I said, like, prioritize the team goal and not for the individual items. Think what I'm working on right now, is that important, or what item needs a closure, is that important, right? So for the sprint goal, maybe those items are of all high priority, all right, or it could be the higher in the order of the MVPs, right? So if somebody is coming closer to getting them to a done state, as a team member, you should also help that item to move ahead to a closure, right? This is what it is. So early, doing it now. So when I say early, doing it now, I have also mentioned that just in time and just enough, right? So there shouldn't be a tendency to do it now, everything, right? Trying to pull everything now. Everyone starts working on everything simultaneously, or a lot of chaos, right there. So just take enough and just in time. Don't do it too early also, right? Like when I say too early, if those items, those user stories are going to evolve over a period of time and they are just in the backlog, no point spending effort much early, right? Just because I have told like let's do things early, don't do it too early also, because by the time you have spent some effort and brought it to some shape, or even in paper, or probably some kind of a spike, or you have done your analysis, probably by then the user story has evolved to have changed, right? Like the requirement in the user story or the acceptance criteria, everything might have changed depending on the situation. So that's the reason, do it just in time and just enough. So that's what it would be, right? So these are some of the E's that I have identified. Definitely, out of your experience, probably you can come out with some other E's or even some other alphabet. But I've just put it in this manner so that it's easy for us to remember, right? But yeah, let's see what's next. So we all agree on the success mantra, right? Especially for agile, when a team, when an organization goes agile, and also probably they've taken the Scrum. Okay, so what is the success? Like, simply following the principles, right? Enabling that the teams, or enabling those principles for the teams and the values, right? So if that is being adhered to, we have seen in the beginning, like that's what is important. If that is being adhered to, that's what is going to help the team succeed, right? Or the organization also succeed in the agile transformation. So now let us see. I have been speaking about all these E's. So are they going to meet those guidelines of the principles or the Scrum values and the pillars, right? So I just tried mapping it. Okay, so this is my way of mapping it. Probably it could be incorrect, or we can map more number of items, right? So these are the E's that I had identified, and just for our easy reference, these are the 12 principles that we have, and the uh, values, Scrum values, and the pillars, right? So let us go through one by one, right? So everyone talks. So which principle does it foster, right? From the agile principles. So business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. So if everyone is talking, most often this is being taken care of, right? Likewise, the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. So this principle is primarily talking about effective communication, right? So in the present day scenario where all of us are working uh, from home, right? So face to face, in person discussion might not happen, but still, yeah, we have come out with different approaches, and everyone have made sure that the communication is still effective. Probably we have this video calls, right? And that's how we still have try to have a face to face conversation, right? So, but the point is, everyone talks, and if everyone is talking, these 2 points are taken care. And again, when I say everyone is talking, it's not like everyone is talking simultaneously, right? It we don't want cross discussions, cross talks. For that, there are various discussion techniques that the team can adopt, right? Yeah, so these are the two principles. And what else, right? So the best architecture requirement design emerges from the self-organizing teams, right? So if they're not going to talk, this is not going to happen because the team is not going to be very self-organized, right? And then at regular intervals, the teams reflect on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. So the team wants to become more effective. If no one is going to do the talking, they'll not be able to do this, right? That's the point. And of course, when everyone talks, it shows a level of openness, right? And also courage. Yeah, it requires courage to be able to talk. Okay, because when you're talking, when we are mentioning about talking, right? It just not means about providing the progress of the work item. It also means you bring out issues, right? Impediments, or probably you're not able to work on something you're not able to understand, right? So being able to talk on those, so it requires a lot of courage, right? So that's what it would foster. And of course it shows a level of commitment. So if you're not going to be committed, you're obviously not going to care about talking or care about doing the talking, right? That's what it is, right? And also it fosters transparency. Only if you talk, everyone else in the team will know that okay, there are issues or how good the item is progressing ahead. And of course, if you're going to talk, as I said, like the 12th principle or the inspect and adapt, right, of the Scrum pillar, both are going to be taken care of, right? So let's move to the next point. Everyone listens. So everyone listens. What happens? Like which are the principles that I have been able to map it to? So welcoming changing requirements even late in the development. So this can happen only if you're listening. Why I say, excuse me, why I say if you're listening, you have to keep listening, right? So it could be like that you have inquired and you get it as a response, or product owner is trying to let you know that hey, there's something, right? Or like there's a change in our needs or the objectives that we have. So you keep listening, okay, and then you'll be able to understand and you'll be able to take care of this, right? So agile processes harnesses change of the customer's competitive advantage. The competitive advantage might have changed. There might have been a change in the competitive edge for the customer, and based on that there might be a change in the requirement. But are you listening as a team, right? If you're going to listen, you'll be able to welcome the change, right? And likewise, the other 2 points, business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project, and then the most efficient and effective method of conveying information. So both of these things are going to be taken care only if you're going to listen to what is being spoken about. So that's the reason 2, 4, and 6. And what's 10th? Simplicity, right? So if you're not going to be listening, probably you'll end up doing everything that you feel is important, right? But if you're going to listen keenly, you'll be able to filter out and do only what is essential, right? So that's the reason I was able to map it to the principle of simplicity, right? And again, if you're listening when someone is talking, the first thing is you're showing respect to that person. If you're not listening, obviously you're disrespecting when the other person is talking, right? That's one thing, right? And also it shows commitment, and it also shows that you're focused, right? That's what it is. Let's move to the next point. Everyone knows everything, right? So only if everyone knows everything, they'll be welcoming the changing requirements, right? They know like what is it that they had been assuming or working in one direction, and what is the kind of change that is coming up, whether it is acceptable change or doable change or something like that, right? So only if everyone knows everything, this is possible. And again, if everyone knows everything, the communication between the business people or developer and effective communication, everything is going to happen. And also, if everyone knows everything, so I've also mapped it to this one, like build projects around motivated individuals, give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done, right? So probably this is something that is being taken care automatically. The teams feel motivated, right, when the discussions happen. Okay, so probably that is one way that I have been able to map it here, right? And then few other points. So continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. So only if everyone knows everything, probably this is going to happen, right? If only part of the team is going to know that, so others are not going to observe, right? There are going to be missed opportunities for any improvement in the technical excellence or enhancing the good design, right? So that is what might happen, right? And as I said, if only everyone knows everything, probably they can keep things simple, and of course the team can become more self-organizing, and also they'll be able to contribute in the inspect and adapt cycle, right? So this also shows a level of openness, commitment, and it also enables team to stay focused. And of course, it indicates that everything is transparent, right? When everyone knows everything, it means that there's a level of transparency within the team. Everyone does something, so probably because our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery, that's what we have to all drive to, right? And or stay focused to. So keep doing something towards meeting this goal, or even the changing requirements, right? And then delivering working software frequently. So these are some of the areas probably if you're doing something, right? Or if you're going to stay idle, work, let the like allow the rest of the team members to continue with the work, probably somewhere we'll fail to meet any of these things, right? So there are a few more, like working software is the primary measure of progress, right? So if only part of the team is working, or only part of the tasks are being taken care, and rest of the sprint teams are idle, probably, yeah, there might not be a good progress on the working software, right? That's what might happen, right? Or the intended MVP might not have been met, right? So that is one way. And then of course, uh, sustainable development might not happen, right? That's what might be an effect if not everyone is not doing everything, right? At some point of time. And likewise, continuous attention to technical excellence and good design. This again, if everyone is trying to do something, this is one more principle that would get adhered to. Like I said, like maybe once they're done with their task on the sprint board items, they might be able to spend time on the technical excellence or enhancing a good design, right? So that is how they can contribute to. Everyone does everything. It also fosters showing respect, because it's something like at times, hey, I've done my job early, okay, I don't have to help you out, right? I don't care what it is, right? Like how you're struggling or whatever, right? So first of all, if you have that respect for everyone, right, and for the work that you're doing, okay, you're going to be doing something at any given point of time. It also shows commitment, right? And it also shows that you're focused, and again enables you to do a proper inspect and adapt cycle. So likewise, I have mapped few other things. So responsible, being responsible, it will allow you to welcome changing requirements, right? And then build projects around motivated individuals. So if the person is going to be motivated, right, so they are going to feel responsible, vice versa, right? And then continuous attention, right? Because you're responsible, you'll always keep looking at opportunities for technical excellence and probably enhancing good designs, right? So you don't want your leadership to come and tell you, hey, now that we have delivered all the planned user stories, how about doing some technical advancement, right? Why don't we do different or enhance the design? You don't have to wait for someone else to tell you, right? Because you're being responsible, you would also take care of these things without anyone telling you, right? And of course, as I said, like you become more self-organized, and then that's going to result in the best architectures, requirements, and design that emerges from such a team which is responsible, right? Being responsible again shows courage, commitment. It also fosters a level of transparency and inspect and adapt, right? And everyone is accountable. So again, this happens only if the individuals are motivated, okay, for which probably the environment should be like that, right? And the trust should be there, right? And again, vice versa. So person feels accountable, right? So when they're accountable, as I said, this principle is being taken care. At the same time, there's going to be an unbiased discussion or unbiased reflection, right, to becoming more effective and adjusting to the behavior accordingly, right? So this is what is going to happen because you're all accountable, you feel accountable. And this definitely requires a lot of courage, like I mentioned before. And I said, like I've said already, like tool or inspect and adapt, it's one and the same. So that's going to be taken care of, right? The last one, do it now, just in time, right? Just enough. Yeah. So if you're not going to do things early, if you're going to delay, okay, probably will not keep satisfying the customer through a early delivery, right? And likewise, delivering working software frequently, within those span of time might not happen, right? And working software progress might not happen, right? The measure is going to indicate that there's no much working progress. There could be delays, right? That's what is going to happen. And then sustainable development. So it's all talking about all these things, right? Relatable. And also it's going to help you keep things simple, right? Like I said, just in time and just enough. Make sure that we are not over consuming and then getting blocked, right? So that's what it is. So it will also help you to foster this principle, right? And it requires, or it shows, fosters commitment, focus, and it also helps to keep the team transparent and in continuous inspection and adapt. So this is how I've been able to map. And like I've been saying, like when these principles are being taken care of and the Scrum values are being taken care of, pillars are being adhered to, that's when the team will see success. Like we can see winning teams being formed or being created. And once we have a winning team, the end result is going to be a winning product that they all are building, right? So this is what it is, right? So we've seen like these are the E's that we can encourage the team or explain to the team, saying that how important it is, right? And how they correlate with the principles. And if we are going to take care of all these things, most of these principles are being taken care of. But what's next? How do we take it ahead, right? So are we just going to take it to the team and say, hey, see, everyone talks, everyone listens? Is that what we can do? Probably not. So probably we can have a discussion, right? And add them to a working agreement and let them know that, yeah, this is what we'll have it as a working agreement. The team agrees to it, right? The team understands what is important, or rather they understand the importance of everything. Okay. And to begin with, they probably include it in the working agreement. And that's how probably we can take it ahead. And once this working agreement is being followed over a period of time, they will not even require that working agreement, as it has become a habit now, right? And team will get into this mode. So this is what I wanted to convey. This is all like what I have jotted down from my observations. There would have been many more observations which I could have highlighted, but maybe it has slipped my mind. And maybe some of the observations or the correlations I might have done incorrectly. But yeah, most of the things have been mapped well, right? So yeah, thank you everyone for listening to this session. And I hope there'll be some key takeaways at least, and there'll be some agreement at least that this is going to be helpful for you as a Scrum Master or being a part of the Scrum team, right? So let's see. Thank you. Thank you, Naveen. Over to you.
Hey, Arut, you can stop the sharing. Hey, I don't know what to say, but the content that you presented was just like, wow. I was really happy to see the depth in which you have been analyzing and connecting the dots with all the aspects of the 12 principles. And this reminds me of my exercise that I did way back in 2009, 2010. Okay, I did exactly a similar exercise on understanding 12 principles, and the result of which I coined this 12 principles helps us build a winning team and helps us build a winning product. But you are one step ahead, and you're mentioning that we are going to connect everybody to a simple mantra. I really liked the last part of the presentation where you had a table in which all the 12 principles and your analysis were mapped. I think the best takeaway for this session is if anybody can take a print of that sheet and put it in front of a team and follow that, okay, are we improving ourselves? And one metrics could be analyzing on that last sheet that you shared. That was awesome. Thank you so much for putting in so much effort and sharing it. Okay.
Thank you.
I have a question here. How did you get started to analyze on the principles and connect to your topic? How did it all start off?
So, Naveen, first of all, to answer this question, I'll have to start with thanking you, right? And you know where it all began, right? It's the Scrum Master training, the CSM training that I have attended. with you. And even prior to that, whatever learnings we would have had, it all would have been trying to understand what is agile, or what are the different types of agile form, and like a lot of things, right? A lot of mislearnings, misconceptions, and scrum and all those things, right? But when we attended your session, first there were a lot of unlearning, right? And then you began with these principles first, right? And it was very clear, right from the word go for me. Like once I got certified, it means that to make or to derive the benefit for any team, right, like we have to keep constantly looking at these principles and the values and the pillars, right? So I have not been talking about agile values, right, because I know that it is built in the principles, right? So all those 4 agile values are built in the system, right? Built in those 12 principles. That's what it is elaborating again, right? So, but yeah, this is what it is, right? So even when I start a new team for Scrum, right, where I talk about how we are going to have that journey. So I start with the Scrum principles, the agile principles, and the Scrum values, and I clearly tell them, right, if you are going to fail, that means probably one of these things we are not taking care of it, right? Like it's not like it doesn't mean that we have to take care of each and everything to the fullest extent possible, right? But if something is getting screwed up from the store or total 12 principles to a higher extent, obviously it will cause a damage to the team, right, in different ways. So now with this thought, when I have started, right, it automatically connects. I don't have to put that extra effort. Like when I keep watching the team, observing the team, and looking for opportunities for the team to improve, right, there's a improvement area. So this is the only way I can connect, as simple as that.
Okay, very interesting, and thanks for that. Uh, if I have to look at all these connections, right? Uh, so you had a focus on the team, where everybody in the team knows something, does something, believes on this. I was just thinking, if I remove everybody and put the manager term there, is this still applicable for them?
I didn't understand. So can you tell
Example,
that again? Mm-hmm.
example, manager takes the accountability, manager takes the responsibility, manager contributes, manager talks, manager listens. And you know what the listen means.
Right. Obviously, right? Like it might be working for some team, but it's all unidirectional. That's it, right? Only the manager is winning there, right? And probably manager is having a whip in his hand, making the teams deliver still. That's how I can see it.
Right. I can understand your intent, Arut. The moment you said everyone, you included everyone, meaning the whole organization and everybody who is part of focusing on the winning products, right?
Right.
Okay, you have anything to add up? I don't have a question. In fact, after this presentation, the connection, I'm still thinking about the connections. So thank you so much.
Right.
If you have anything to say, you can go ahead and say that. And finally, thank you so much from my side.
Yep. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you again for the opportunity. And like I can be go on thanking you, right, for setting the understanding right, like I don't know, I understanding is still not the word, right, like setting it right for me, like what is agile, and probably what's the right way of having a scrum, right? So that's what it's all about, and that's my journey, and I hope I'll be able to do justice to the knowledge that I have gained right now, that being an advanced scrum master role, right, I'm looking forward to an opportunity where probably I will be playing a role in an organizational level transformation, right? So that probably hasn't happened for me till now, so I look forward to that kind of an opportunity going forward, right? And this all these things is going to help me out the time.
Yeah, I can actually tell you one thing after looking at your presentation and the depth of understanding and the intent that you are bringing up. I can certainly say that your focus in the agility and the direction in which you want to build the team and the organization is in the right direction. I certainly wish that your management looks at it and then gives you an opportunity that is required for you to showcase this. And I'm sure you will be more successful in that activity.
Yes.
So wishing you a good luck for your driving force and then your area of interest. I
Thank you
think
so much.
you spent a lot of time in preparing and sharing your gem with all of us. Uh, Thank you so much from 12 Principles Consulting.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you everyone who have been an audience to this. Thank you.
Audience, thank you so much for being patient and listening to all these things. This was ArutPrakash from Advanced Scrum Master training, a student who's supposed to present the topic, and I think he's done a fabulous job. If you want to know more about the Advanced Scrum Master certification and training programs, it is not just a certification, it is the new you. In the description below, you'll find the links from 12 Principles Consulting where you can go ahead and join, and hopes to see you all people. Thank you so much. And this ends our presentations for today. Have a good day.